Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be Snowden, number 2 would be Blair Witch, number 3 would be Bridget Jones's Baby, number 4 would be Sully, and number 5 would be When the Bow Breaks, and I only got 2 out of 5 of my predictions right, and to be honest, I'm actually quite surprised by this. So let's talk about it. First off, number 1 was Sully. Once again, last weekend it made like around $30 million, and this weekend it barely even made that much of a big drop. It only made $22 million this weekend, and that adds to a total of $70 million. So it just crossed its $60 million budget as well, which is very good for this film that I still have not seen due to some unfortunate circumstances. I've been behind on a couple movies that I'm actually kind of disappointed that I'm behind on. I'm so sorry. Believe me, if I could see all these movies at once, I would, but I'm working on it. Hopefully this week I can end the not see any movies trend. But anyways, number 2 was Blair Witch. This weekend it made only $9 million. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh no, it's a big disappointment, but really its budget was only $5 million, so it's not that big of a loss if it doesn't make as much as maybe you would have predicted. And this is a kind of movie that I'm really interested in seeing now because not only of its critical reception, but because I recently watched the first Blair Witch film, The Blair Witch Project, recently, and it kind of frickin' sucks. So I'm actually kind of interested to see how the new one turns out, because a lot of people are saying that the new Blair Witch is the same thing as the Blair Witch Project, which I hope not, because as I just said, I kind of hate the Blair Witch Project. So, and the trailers, it doesn't look like it's entirely the same. The Blair Witch Project, nothing happened in that movie, but in the trailers for Blair Witch, once again, haven't seen it yet, but from the trailers, it looks like there's some more stuff going on. So I'm still looking forward to see this film. But anyways, number 3, Bridget Jones's Baby, a movie that I really am not looking forward to seeing. It made $8,240,000 this weekend, and you might look at the $35 million budget and think, ah, crap, that's a big disappointment for it, but really, none of the Bridget Jones movies here in the US of A have made that big of a box office milestone, I guess, but around the world, with the worldwide total, these movies do exceptionally well, so I have no doubt in my mind that it's probably doing fantastic worldwide, like the other Bridget Jones movies. Plus, I haven't seen the other Bridget Jones movies, so I really don't know if this is a big drop from the average Bridget Jones release. I don't know. I honestly didn't even know about this property until earlier this year, so there, that shows you what I know. Anyways, number 4 was Snowden, the movie I predicted to be number 1, only made $8,023,000 this weekend, and you look at that $40 million budget, that's kinda disappointing. I thought this movie would have made more, especially since it is an Oliver Stone movie and it's based off the actual Edward Snowden. I thought maybe more people would have been interested to go out to see it, but apparently not. I'm not sure why. It looked pretty good, and I still do want to see it, despite what people on Rotten Tomatoes are saying. I still am interested in seeing Snowden. But anyways, number 5 was Don't Breathe. Finally, a movie that I have seen. It made $5,600,000 this weekend, and that adds to a total of $75 million. So it's still holding out strong. I don't think it's going to be able to get to $100 million domestically, but this is still very impressive, especially for Fede Alvarez, whose last movie, Evil Dead, only made it to about $50 million as a total domestic run. Now this one has outgrossed it, so that's very good. I'm glad that Don't Breathe is being extremely successful. But then we have number 6, another thriller-type movie that is also kind of successful, but it kind of sucks, apparently. When the Bow Breaks. This weekend it made $5,525,000, and that adds to a total of $22 million. It did double its $10 million budget. I don't think anyone was surprised when hearing that these stalker-type movies that Screen Gems puts out usually do very well, so I'm not surprised. I still haven't seen the movie, but it looks like crap. What I've heard from Chris Stuckman and Double Toasted, this movie is crap, so I can't wait to see it at some point. Yuck. Anyways, number 7 was Suicide Squad. This weekend it made $4 million, and that adds to a total of $313 million. Suicide Squad is finally kind of starting to wind down a bit. It's dropping lower and lower on the top 10 list. I think next week, will be the last time it'll be around, honestly. I could be wrong because I have been wrong about that before, but it is definitely starting to die down a little bit, especially since it's been out since August 5th. It's almost been 2 months. Like, it's almost October. Well, not really. It's close to being almost 2 months in theaters. So this is still very impressive for the movie. I am glad that it did make a lot of money, even though I was overall disappointed with the project. But moving on, because this is kind of a controversial topic. Number 8 was The Wildlife, a movie that's not controversial. It made $2,650,000 this weekend, and that adds to a total of $6 million. It hasn't even gotten like halfway to its budget yet. Its budget being $13 million. 6 isn't exactly half of 13. If it's 6.5, then yes, but it's 6 million. So it's not even at the halfway mark. It's kind of sad if you really think about it for this movie. But what can I say? It didn't get good praise. I honestly almost forgot that it was coming out, and I'm probably not even going to see it. Maybe I will because, hey, I'm a sucker for movies. Anyways, number 9, an animated film that is super fantastic. Kubo and the Two Strings. This weekend it made $2,509,000, and that adds to a total of $44 million. Unfortunately, it's only $16 million away from its $60 million budget, and unfortunately, it's about to leave the top 10 before it even got there, or even a little bit close. That's really depressing, because this movie is actually one of the best of the year, and it didn't even make its budget back. It's really sad to think about, because this movie's exceptionally amazing, but barely anyone saw it. So thanks, casual movie audience members not going to see Kubo and the Two Strings. Thanks a lot. And finally, Peach Dragon opening at number 10. This one's definitely going to be gone by next week. It made $2,041,000, and that adds to a total of $72 million. So at least it did cross its $65 million budget. It's making a little bit more than that, but I guess some people might be disappointed in how it didn't do as well as any other Disney movie that's come out this year, like Zootopia or The Jungle Book or Civil War. It did do a little bit better than the BFG, which is good, but it could have done a lot more, and I think it should have done a lot more, because it's actually a very good movie. Also, the BFG, because that's also a really good movie that barely anyone saw. Again, thanks, casual movie audience members not going to see actual good movies. But now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Now, I don't think this is going to be much of a surprise when I predict that number 1 will be Storks, the new animated film from Warner Brothers Animation Company. Then I think number 2 will be The Magnificent Seven, especially when you have the Lord and Savior Chris Pratt in there. He'll definitely get more audience members in. Then I'm going to say number 3 is Sully, number 4 is Blair Witch, and number 5 is Bridget Jones's Baby. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below, and if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.